this is going to be a very hard one to talk about. Not because it's bad or anything like that, because it's not. Matter of fact, in terms of quality, this is Ghibli's best movie. But it's more so because it's one of those movies that is so intense, somber, depressing, and just rips your heart out that you can't watch it more than once. Because this movie will make you cry multiple times, profusely and uncontrollably. And you may be saying, oh, well, you're just building it up and being overdramatic. No. This is a movie that will rip your heart out of your chest, stomp on it, and then force feed it back to you in pieces. It is one of the most intense, brutal, and depressing things that I have ever watched. And afterwards, it took me 5 minutes to stop freaking crying because of the ending. Like, Lord, it is so hard to talk about this one. But I will do my best to give it its due, because this movie, as depressing as it is a masterpiece. It is an incredible movie, and it is, in terms of quality, the best Ghibli movie we have reviewed so far up to this point. But, my God, it is so depressing. So, what's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your message for anything and everything animation, including TV and movies. I am your host, Jackson Small. Welcome back to Ghibli Month. Welcome to my review of the intense, dark, brutal, and sadly true story that is Grave of the Fireflies. A movie that will make you cry profusely. And I'm not being dramatic, I promise you. Like, it is so hard to watch. And it's supposed to be hard to watch. It's a commentary film. And not to mention, again, it's based on a true story that actually happened during this real-life event in World War II. But, oh my, it is so hard to watch. Like, it starts out seemingly okay, but then it literally drops a bomb on you. And the rest of the movie, it gives you little flashes of hope, and then it just keeps ripping your heart out again and again as things become more and more hopeless and depressing. Leading up to an ending that will leave zero dry eyes. Let me just put it this way. If you don't cry by the end of this movie, you have no soul. Because this is one that is literally stabbing you not only in the heart, but right into your soul. Because, again, you have to remember, this may be an animated movie, but it is a true story. This really happened, and these people really died that way. It is so hard. I can't say anymore. Let's just get through the written review. I'll do my best to not to cry, but no promises, because even just talking about this movie makes me feel upset. But I promise you, it's supposed to. That's the movie's intention. So, here's my review for Grave of the Fireflies. I hope you enjoy. After 2 fictional fantasy adventure films, Ghibli decided that for their 3rd animated feature film, they'd make something much more personal and, sadly, a true story of tragedy from an actual real-world event. Thus, Grave of the Fireflies was born. This is one of the only Ghibli movies that I was aware of before I even planned this marathon out, and I absolutely dreaded when the day came that I had to watch and review it. Not because I thought it was going to be bad or anything like that, but more so because I already knew that it was going to absolutely, and please pardon my French, but rip my fucking heart out of my chest. And when I finally watched it for the first time, it made me cry even more than I expected it to. and I was already expecting it to make me cry a good bit. Grave of the Fireflies is a somber, depressing, intense, dark, and absolutely devastating movie from start to finish. Voice acting, despite having zero affiliation with Disney this time, and for very good reason, was fantastic. The storytelling was brutal and unrelenting. The pacing was slow and lingering. The animation is both gorgeous and horrific. The tone is non-stop dread, with little flashes of happiness here and there just to lead you into a false sense of hope. The ending is heart-wrenching and will make you cry uncontrollably for at least 5 to 10 minutes. The soundtrack is somber but tragically beautiful, and the writing is unapologetically realistic. However, it comes with one huge flaw: zero rewatchability. As masterfully crafted as it is, it's just far too intense and heart-shattering to ever watch again, knowing how much it'll make me cry yet again. Like, very rarely can I say that about a movie that I absolutely love. Like, in terms of it being what it set out to do, it is amazing at that. But because it is so good at what it turned out to do, it's so hard to watch. And I don't want to rewatch it ever again. It's a one and done, it's a masterpiece movie that's a one and done that you watch just to say that you've watched it. Because it is a masterpiece movie and absolutely worth your time, but goddamn will it rip your heart out. This is undoubtedly one of the best movies in the history of not just Ghibli, but in all of animation, and has earned all of its praise and then some. But I can never watch it again, which keeps me from being able to recommend it in good conscience. If you think that you can handle its intensity, then definitely give it a watch. If you think that you can handle it, if you are emotionally strong and not super manipulated by these things, then you should watch it. Absolutely. If you think you can take it, if you think you can handle the intensity, watch it. But if you already know how much it's going to rip your heart out and you don't want to cry profusely for hours afterwards, then I understand. If you're one of those people that gets very easily emotional seeing characters sad or seeing them slowly deteriorate and die, yeah, don't watch this movie if you're one of those people, because it'll just leave you depressed for a long, long time. Hell, after I finished watching it, I literally had to watch Totoro a day early because I needed something to help bring my spirits back up, because this movie, it's just so depressing. Like, it's supposed to be depressing, I get it. But it's so depressing to the point that I don't want to ever watch it again. Yes, it is a masterpiece. Yes, it is an incredible work of dark, grisly art. And I have all the respect in the world to the writer for making this movie, because he wrote this movie inspired by failing his own sister. Just thinking about that makes me want to cry, dude. So, if you think you can handle it, watch it, absolutely. If you don't think you can handle it, well, at least try. If you can get through at least the first half, then you're good. Because the second half, no one's getting through the second half of this movie without crying. Like I said, the only reason you would not cry at this movie is because you don't have a soul. So, with all that said, my final verdict for Grave of the Fireflies is a high and well-deserved, but very much one and done and extremely tear-stained 11 out of 10. And it gets that on its pure emotion alone. Yes, quality-wise, it is the best Ghibli movie that we have looked at so far by a very considerable margin. But it's not one of my favorites because it's too intense to ever try to watch again. So Castle in the Sky is still my favorite so far, but quality-wise, this is Ghibli's best one that I've looked at. So, yeah. It got really heavy in this review, and I'm sorry, but a movie like this, I couldn't review it any other way. Hell, I didn't even know if I could review it at all, in all honesty, because it's a movie that is so intense that it's hard to really take notes of anything because you're crying so much, you know? Thankfully, the next movie we gotta look at, while not nearly on this level of quality, is still a much more lighthearted and happy fare. So, thankfully, this is one of the only Ghibli movies that I know of that's extremely depressing like this, so it should be back to super cute fun from here on out. So, I'll see you guys next time for the animated classic that is My Neighbor Totoro.